This little shout out is to you women who might be struggling a little bit with confidence and self-esteem. So I want to give you one tip that can really be a game changer for some of my clients. And believe it or not, this has nothing to do with the clothes that you're wearing, whether you're having a good hair day, a bad hair day, or whether you are the wisest, the smartest, the most well-versed, the oldest, the most attractive, the thinnest, the most fit. Nothing to do with anything in the outer game, because the root of our confidence and our self-esteem can be traced back to our inner narrative. It's that little voice within our head. And whether we're allowing it free rein to go out there and tell us we're not good enough, we're not this enough, we're not that enough, that sets defining perfection, for example. So our language, the language of our inner game, really determines how we experience our life in general. So that's a big topic. And I spend a lot of time coaching my clients how to start making these shifts. So today, I just want to share with you one tiny piece that if you will play with this, and play with this over the next, even just the next 7 days, and be really, really committed, be really, really vigilant, I think you'll start to see a shift. And what I'm going to encourage you to do are 2 words. The first one is the word but. A lot of times we'll say, I'm really, really good at this, but, or I really want this, but, or, well, sometimes this really happens, but I want you to commit to yourself to replace the word but with the word so. Just stop yourself whenever you hear, first of all, you've got to be aware, right? So it's that acronym ACT. Right? For those of you who love taking action, it's the acronym ACT. A stands for first, be aware. Listen for that word, but. And then C, when you hear it, commit to changing it. Commit to changing the word but to the word so. How can you do this? Like, I really want to have more confidence and self-esteem, not but. I never am able to do that. I really want to commit to have more confidence and self-esteem. So I'm going to work on blank, or I'm going to play with doing that. Or again, I'm going to commit to doing more of that, right? Being a better friend to myself. I'm going to commit to changing my inner narrative, right? How can you replace the buts in your world with so? And I promise you, as you play with that, you'll start to see some shifts in that inner narrative. And the T in ACT, A-C-T, is really to start embracing the power of transformation. Transformation can be much quicker than you think, as long as you're willing to make that commitment. And it's the difference between saying, oh, I would love for things to change and get better, or I'm committed. And yes, I realize there's going to be some pushback. That's part of the process. That pushback is just part of the fine tuning and getting it even more solid, even more entrenched. So all of a sudden you realize, you wake up one day and you go, wow, I can't remember the last time that I had one of those days. Do I still get ticked off? Absolutely. It's just now I've gotten into a pattern of not getting stuck there. Right. And so this is that ebb and flow. Our change doesn't happen like that. Our change is an up and down and curvy process. So embrace that and just celebrate that at least now you are in a place where you become aware when you're saying lots of buts. Wait a minute, right? Stoplight, right? And then the other word that I'm going to suggest that you play with is inserting the word yet, right? I don't have the kind of income that I'd like. Well, how about putting the word yet in, right? I haven't figured that out yet, right? Play with, if you can insert yet into these sentences, how does that make you feel? A little bit softer? Does it make you feel that if you haven't gotten the result, that the game's not over yet, right? So I'm really going to encourage you to have some fun with these things, realize how connected your inner narrative is, and probably most important of all, that just because your mind thinks it, you are not required to give it carte blanche authority to just let it go down that rabbit hole. Look, think of it this way. If we were driving down a highway and I said, I'm hungry, right? And we pull off an exit and I say, by the way, I only eat healthy food. I'm a vegan even. And yet there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken sitting there and I go, oh my God, there's Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't eat that, but it's there. So, okay, let's go ahead and go through the drive-through, order me the whatever pack it is. And I eat it. And now I feel terrible. I'm really disgusted with myself. And I feel terrible. And then I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, there is a Burger King next door. Okay, I guess because it's there, I have to consume it. Let's go ahead and drive through, right? We would never do that. And yet we do that all day long with the thoughts that are around us or with things that are said to us. We feel like we have to weigh it. If someone says something that is hurtful, we feel like we have to consider this, right? Or else we have to fight against it. What if that's not the case? What if you really do have the right to decide what goes on in your own mind? And when you do decide that you have the right to what goes on in your own mind, what happens if you start living that? How different might your life be? So if you are a woman who is committed, forget about struggling, right? Who is committed to showing up consistently with more and more confidence, more self-esteem, you can do this. It is so possible. I am almost 62 years old. It has taken me a freaking long time to learn this. We even had a boulder drop in our life, and I believe that you can do this too. And you shouldn't have to have a freaking boulder dropped in you and go through some of the crazy things that I've gotten in order to get this through your head. And I have a very hard noggin up there. So, and oh, by the way, in case you haven't noticed by the chickens behind me, this can be a whole lot of fun as you're figuring this out too. So go out there, rock your world, work on that inner narrative. Just start with those 2 words. No more buts. Change your buts to so, and add that yet, and go out there and unleash the most epic version of yourself, starting right here, starting right now. All right. See you soon.